Okay.
All right. This one is called The Altar of Possibility. Maybe it's just that I'm wearing the right shades, but the snowflakes are in slow motion this morning. Some, to be sure, are coming to a stop and reversing direction without warning, like they don't want to touch down, too in love with floating to follow the laws of nature. Too many people I see don't know that's even an option, thoughts confined by nomenclature. Just because you are told by those with low ceilings that the limitations they've chosen are also yours, and everything that they've identified as definitively closed doors does not mean you are obligated to adhere to any of those half-living restrictions. They have decided to obey the road signs, stop, yield, while I'd rather keep an eye on other inscriptions, rarely written in words, more often read in the bowels of a blazing bonfire, and the message mutates as I add more gasoline. I've never met one I'd call a liar, nothing but truth. In the fire, it does not know how to do or be anything else. Unlike people who many times run from both out of fear that they will watch as the comforting fallacy melts. Then what? The masks they have spent so much time constructing and maintaining have become them and vice versa. That is not living. Cowardly choosing the restraining bondage of fakeness might be sufficient for some, but for me does not even come close to the absolute freedom that the opposite is guaranteed to yield, but it cannot reside in a reluctant host. That is why I am a willing supplicant, kneeling in my own blood at the altar of possibility, with a grin, seeing clearly through the veil, well acquainted with this oldest and newest mystery. Thank you. And this one's for Mr. Chris. It's called Hyper-Orgasmic. Living hyper-orgasmically, but without the mess. Socially orgiastic, but with less. Scheduling conflicts than that lifestyle usually entails. Just trying to have a good time. How about we get off of these rails and onto a different track with less hang-ups? We can sit back in a more suitable location. On a whim, we can get into or out of any sticky situation, knowing time and the limits of constructed devices and wishes. What is past, finite and gone, the future similarly fictitious, that which is behind us and in front of us, reaching toward each other to form this wave upon which we are now riding and breathing, in, out, feeling the vibrations of each respirated molecule, as we scoff at the waning moon, for it too is nothing and deserving of both praise and ridicule. Thanks. And this one actually I wrote when the locally and talented Rob and Terry were playing at Foucault, but it's not directed at you, Rob, or you, Terry, I'm sorry. It's called Connected. I do dig your form. Beyond aesthetics, gloriously warm. She eats on Saturdays and then only ice. Her eyes so blue with timidities inside. It was mutely and purely decided then and there, and I touched the silver bracelet on her wrist and smelled the flower in her hair, for the chains had been busted in the night. Thank you, Mr. Dillon. And I know that this is real, so bright. Everything illuminated, seemingly from within, connected, all one. And she said, it is now time to begin. Thanks. And this one's Heidegger, White Fire. This is me in the spotlight tonight, questioning my existence and losing it loosely, finding through loss and absence of resistance to this and what might be. This feels right. Spilling the transformation of what was once inside, now out, new communication, back and forth, residue on the floor, in the air, in you now, finding myself in this process, ripping through the thickness is how, touching and touched, and my spine is tingling again, but unlike back then, when what no longer is was, your touch fading. Something about this one tastes fresh, resulting in a drive to waste less. Moments, experiences, intensity, vivid, electric brightness. I have the right lenses on and I'm dancing, rejoicing in the likeness, taking aim with care, without thought that I might miss the mark because the target is less important than the path there. And unexpected penetration is really not the worst outcome where I'm concerned. Just feeling and being now, erupting aware as I had not been prior. And the attraction to more of the actual, a well-fueled and fanned flame, a fantastic white fire. Thanks. Now, two quick ones or one more?
Yep. How long they are.
Yeah.
They're doing fine.
These have been originals, and this one also is a Machete. Allegedly, there are various voices in my head, and one tells me what to do. Dear Satan, is it God, or is it you, or is it a fourth party with an ironic sense of humor? Could be Eeyore with a chronic sense of doom, or just some wayward angel still lacking his wings. Ring them bells and we can go ransacking like kings. A couple of thorny crowns around, but none of them fit. So I searched 30 towns and found the meaning of redundant. Asking the same question, needing a new response. Basking in the darkness, believing the truth was lost. Sometimes we just need to update our maps. New trails blazed, old ones littered with traps. Some blatantly baited, others hidden in plain view. Just beneath the leaves, the regret and pain do not compare to this new need to pull apart these iron jaws, yes, to be freed from the teeth that instantly clamped to the bone. Took a step, heard a click, then the waiting mouth slammed home. Ambushed, finally reaping what I had sown. Opened my eyes for the first time. I'm glad some seeds had blown to this new trapless way. Machete for the obstacles I have to say. I now hear the ringing and the judge must be swayed. Each new one is the fastest day. So tilt the scales, and when all else fails, a new path just may be the most productive possible option. This is my 136th second chance. Too many lessons forgotten. Deep breaths, adapt to the tides, unstoppable, baby. I think I might be locked in. At last, the current course must be stopped when it no longer accomplishes its intended task. Ideals corrupted, the truth needs to be defended fast. Dear whoever, whatever sent me, I'm so sorry that this gift was given to me freely. I took it for granted, but not only that, I almost completely disposed of it. Now I am living my redemption. Finger lift in the air because the wind is always changing its mind and direction. So riding this flow rather than railing against it now makes more sense to me. Here for the only reason, the heaviest, so why don't we do this together? Love might be the why and the what. Let's do it and be it. I've been told since the beginning it's the only thing that's needed. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
One more short one?
Yeah.
There you go.
Where to begin? A wise man once told me, dude, just get it started. Well, without a doubt, something significant has been imparted to me with the obligation to, with words, attempt to do justice to the expanding feeling and element of growing momentum, but with the definite alteration of the senses, a lens replacement, along with new ears, and I think my old taste buds went the way of all who are now dust. And there's no question, it is not just the seeing and the hearing and the tasting. I am feeling like I never felt. But other than and beyond the emotionality of old, oh, the colorful, velvety smoothness of those smells. In describing this, I need to mention time and the way it now swells. The seconds are no longer what they once were, a whole new style. I guess you could call them more productively volatile. I heard it described as gunpowder now being in my hourglass, the talks and the ticks resulting in more than shattered glass. I don't think it's for me to say, so I won't call my moments deadly. The powder is not what does the killing, that which it propels is now ready for the spark. 'Tis all that's needed for an explosively reactive occurrence. Not for the meek or mild-hearted, though. It requires a solid form of fortitude and endurance. Thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah.